Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of CSS animation. So today we're gonna make a really cool flipping card animation. As you can see here, we're gonna make a Marco Polo animation. So this kind of animation is quite easy to do. However, it can add valuable texture and feeling on the website. Let's get started coding. Here I have my code pen open. So the first thing we need to do is just to define a basic markup for this card flip animation. So we're going to start with the body tag first. And then we can define our card. And in this card we have content, right, which is the front face of the card and the back face of the card. If you remember in the introduction, the front face is Marco, and when we hover on it, it actually flips to the back face, which has the polo text in it. So we're gonna define a div for content, and in this content we have the front face and the back face. And in the front face we have Markup, and I'm gonna do a similar thing for the back face, except different CSS class, and at the back it's a polo. So that's all we have to do for the HTML markup. And now we come down to styling, and for the body I'm going to define the width and height to be full width on the screen. And the background gonna be my favorite pink color. This one. So far so good. And also want to style my card, and for the width and height of the card I'm going to define a 300 pixel, and I'm going to give it a background color. Right, so right now the card is actually not at the center of the page. One way to center things is using flexbox, which is I'm going to use on the body. I'm going to make it display flex, and then I'm just gonna do justify content and align items, centers. Yep, so right now it's centered perfectly on the page. This is exactly what I want. Now moving on, there's something we miss here, which is the font, which is really important. Typography is always important in web design, everyone. And right here I'm going to use my favorite font, Markup. And I'm also want to define the font size. I'm going to use 60 pixel. So this is great. And now for the front face and the back face of the card, it's gonna have the same height and width as the card. So here I just put content width gonna be 100%. so that the content always the same width and height as the card. And for the front face and back face, we're gonna start a front face and back face now. Again, the width and height is gonna be 100%, so that is gonna be the same as the card with width and height. Now we need to align the text for front face and back face at the center. So we gonna use text align center. So this is horizontal align. So as you can see, the Markup pole right now is horizontally centered. However, it's not vertically centered yet. But if this text is 60 pixel, from here to here 60, and this height is 300. So you get 300 minus 60, you got 240. So I fair to say that if I apply padding 120 to top and bottom, it's gonna vertically center the text. And one thing I need to do is a box sizing. Yeah, so I can see because front and back face are in two different depth, so that's why it's on top of each other. If you can do Chrome open inspect, you can see it's actually on top of each other. This is fine. We're going to do more styling to make it appear properly. And I want to have a little bit of border radius, 8 pixel. Now we have the text appear correctly. Now I have to do is to apply a style on the front face, because front and back face got different text color, and the text color on the front face is actually the green color. If you remember the first few seconds of the video, and the background color of the front face is white. I'm going to copy this and do something similar for the back. The color here is actually opposite each other. As you can see. Oh, you see this border radius? It actually works, but not for the front. I think because we have the background color white on the card. There we go, now it works. Now we have everything ready. Now let's start working on how to make Markup to be a front face and Polo to be a back face. So this something to do with CSS 3-dimensional. So in 3D CSS, there's 3 axes X, Y, and Z, but the one that we care the most for this example or for this exercise is the Y axis. If you rotate this image on the Y axis, it's actually rotate towards the camera direction. So this direction is what we want, because when we flip a card, we want to flip it towards the camera direction. Yeah, you can visualize in this 3D CSS tester. Now coming back to our exercise. Now because the back face here supposed to be at the back of Markup, so its initial position right now is actually still showing Polo, which is not right. So it needs to be rotated in the Y axis by 180 degree. When you rotate this 180 degree in Y axis, is the Polo text gonna be at the back of the Markup. So the marker and polo can be in two opposite directions. I hope that makes sense. I've misspelled. Right, so it rotates to the back because marker and polo still on top of each other. That's why you see it this way. And the one thing we need to take care of is the back face visibility. Now, when I said back face visibility hidden, the polo actually disappeared. This is because the polo, when it rotates 180 degrees, it's got its own back face because this the back face div is in 3D dimensional. It's got front and back face as well. When we rotate it 180 degrees, its front face is rotated and is exposed back face towards the camera. And when we say the back face visibility hidden, it's actually make that back face towards the camera to be hidden, basically. And you look at the marker still showing up because it's not rotated. And this marker div here also in 3D CSS, it got the top face and the back face. So the top face got a text marker because we're not rotated yet, so the top face still show, but the back face is going to be hidden. I hope that makes sense. I try my best to explain things. One thing, now we have one thing though. If you click inspect this, if you inspect this, you see these div still appears. This is not ideal. Ideally, we want these two divs going to be on top of each other, or in other words, to be up here, at the same place. So one way of doing that is to make the card position relative. And this position absolute. So now if we click inspect, you see it's on top of each other. Well, Marco on top of Polo. Now I close this. Now we have everything that we want. Now we're going to work on the hover animation. So we want to say when you hover on the card, the content of the card gonna be flipped, right? So I'm gonna target the content, and when you hover, the content gonna be rotate 180 degrees. So this is right. Let me do a transition. This is works now, except you see the marker just showing the it's just showing the marker in reverse. This is because we need to specify this transform actually happen in 3D. One way of the way to fix that is to go to your content, and we're gonna do transform style, preserve 3D. Now when you hover on it, actually flip the card 180 and show the top face of the Polo div, which is exactly what we want, right? However, you still see some issues here. When I hover on it, it flips 180 degree perfectly, exactly what we want. However, when we move our mouse outside of it, it just immediately turns back to markup. We don't want that. So the one way to fix it, we just do transition on the initial of the content. I'm gonna make the transition back to the initial state. It's gonna be 0.5 seconds as well, and we hover on it. It's also do transition 0.5 seconds. Now it works perfectly. So this is exactly what we want. However, if you look at the animation, there's something, you feel something still missing, and that is this kind of flip still feel 2D to me. You see that? It feels really 2D. We need something that more 3D feeling for the user. So one CSS property that people often miss is a perspective. I hope I spelled that right. Perspective CSS probably means that how far away I want to set the camera relatively to this card. So if I put a perspective 1000 pixel, you probably don't see any different. However, when we move the camera closer to the flip card, we actually see something. You see that? The effect. And if I move it closer, well, you see that? So I feel like around 600 pixels is a right value here. So this is the same as when you open the door, and when you stand really close to the door, you just feel that the door just open and slap you in the face. And this is exactly the feeling that perspective in CSS gives you. Now we have a complete product right here, and I hope you like the video. And if you like the video, please give me a like and click on the subscribe button to my channel, and see you guys in the next episode.